I came to Dubai as a DJ.
You've played the football 29 years.
I can tell you on one hand how many cold calls I've made in 6 years.
Don't join real estate.
I fire clients. Told me that I had a fantastic personality, but I was just too old.
Hey, welcome back to another episode where today we are here within our lovely guest, and here again within to the real estate talk where you have to take your cup of tea and watch us. Let's start our podcast today. Guys, how are you feeling today?
Very good.
Awesome.
Business B.
Yeah,
We're here.
traffic.
We're here at 6 p.m. at night. It's madness
Okay.
in general.
Except from the traffic, I guess all good.
Yeah, all good.
Exactly.
All good.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Awesome.
having us.
And let's start to talk about into real estate at all and introduce ourselves a bit of. We'll start within the Mr. Toghrul. You said you have 8 years of experience into real estate, right? And
Yes, correct.
We are eager to know about your history. How did you ended up into real estate? How did you ended up right here at this moment where you're talking your experience to here into our audience?
Well, that's a good question. I arrived to Dubai at the beginning of 2016. So I started all my 8 years of experiences, all real estate related. I've started with a developer, the first experience here in Dubai. Build my connections, gain some experience, knowledge about the market, and then moved to the brokerage. So I've done both. So it's a passion. I mean, I love it every day.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mr. Daniel, how about you? How did you ended up within? You said where you do only the off-plan side, right? And
Yeah, we have a brokerage here. I have my own brokerage here. My name is Daniel Garofoli. I'm 40 years old, 11 years in real estate here in
11
Dubai.
years. Wow.
Yes, sir. And we are. I'm trying to disrupt the market in many ways. I think I was one of the first on social media. The TM can confirm that. We do a lot of business now. We do development business here. We have our own buildings. We manage them. We have our own legal department here, our own law company. We're like basically in every step of the supply chain, of the value chain for the client, we have somebody in-house, own conveyancer, and with almost 40 employees now. So it's a big organization that we grew. But I came accidentally to real estate because I came to Dubai as a DJ.
Oh, no way. Is it?
That's an interesting story.
For the first time in 2007, I was booked at the first party after Ramadan. And
No
back
way.
In 2007, that was a different story. And I thought like, Dubai, like Middle East, Saudi Arabia, they chop off your hand if you come there, like if you steal stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was
That's
the
what we heard,
craziest.
yeah.
Like I was traveling when I was young in my 20s, right? I was booked around the world as a DJ, and that brought me to Dubai in 2007 for the first time. And since between 2007, I decided I want to move there. And between 7 and 11, it was like on and off. And 12, eventually I moved over here to Dubai. So that was the year when I joined also real estate. Back then the market was good again. So 12, 13, 14 was good. And then 14 to 20, basically it was like, Mexican standoff as we called it. Like the first move gets shot. And it was a fun. I saw the market up, down, left, right, twirling and twisting around. And I have a very critical. I'm German, right? So I have a very critical view overall of the market, of like things that are happening. I'm not like following the next shiny object that they're launching here all the time, and I have a very conservatively pessimistic approach towards the real estate market.
Hey, that's interesting. So you do a little bit of everything, including the music. Back in
no, I never touched the DJ booth after my 30th birthday was the light, because I decided I've studied business and everything, and I said, it was fun when you were young, but I had my back then girlfriend, now my wife, now we have kids, and and things like this. So I knew already, like I married this girl, she's okay. So that when I was 27, so I decided to stop DJing when I was 30.
Okay, that's
But at
interesting.
the end of the year company parties, you don't spin the decks.
No, sorry. My wife is my business partner. And she's from Belarus, bro. She rules.
She keeps you
Like,
right.
she's like the Soviet order.
That's interesting, Mr. Ricardo.
She keeps you right.
I know what you're talking about.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
My name is Ricardo Scala. I only work in the secondary market of
Which
this
is
industry,
interesting.
which is here in Dubai.
And you did not touch anything into the rentals, holiday homes of.
I know I started in the very beginning as rentals. In the very beginning, I started as rentals when I first came. I've been in Dubai for 6 years. I'm the baby out of the three. I've been here for 6 years. I started in rentals because rentals is the easiest way to connect and to network with as many people as possible. So I came to Dubai. I worked with the traditional brokerages. I have traditionally never fit in well in those scenarios because I always like to think outside of the box and do things my way. So I started as rentals, and then of course I specifically wanted to stay in rentals for 2.5 years, actually, even though everyone kept telling me to move into sales. But it's networking, and the more people you know, the more opportunity you create. So for me, I spent 2.5 years building my network before transitioning into sales, and then I consciously decided to move into the secondary market. Now, when I say that, most brokers in this industry will sell secondary market, and then when the opportunity comes to sell something off plan, they probably take it. With me, I actually choose not to. My personality type is the type of person that has to see, touch, and feel to be able to recommend and give my advice on things. So personally, from that point of view, from an ethical point of view, I can only sell secondary market. Well, that's why I choose to do that.
That's interesting.
But from that perspective, I focused on doing that. I then transitioned into my own company and had my own business in my own company. And different to what has been said already, my own company is myself and my wife.
That's interesting.
I have no other employees. I base my business model purely on the US style of real estate, where you have the face, the brand out there with people. I use social media to be able to put that point across. I don't do any traditional marketing, which is viewed as the norm here in Dubai. And I am a one-man show, effectively, representing myself in the best way that I can and selling the secondary market.
That's interesting. Coming back to Mr. Daniel, you said that you have a wife and kids, right? How do you feel to be here in Dubai within your family, especially with the kids? How does it feel? Is it okay to be here within the kids? Because we've heard that within the stories, it's not probably maybe someone heard, it's Dubai is not a really good within Emirates is not a good within the kids, but where we wanted to tell is actually I'm sure you would say the backside of that, where you would say the good words on that, right?
We're now looking for like a second home somewhere in the world where we could have our second residence, and I can't find a place that I would decide to move. Like for me, Dubai still offers everything that I want, aside from the usual like glitz and glimmer and shiny things and tax-free talk. Dubai is a super international city where you can meet people from all over the world. Get to know different cultures, try different cuisines, and enjoy different parts of the world within one city, right? Like drive half an hour north, you're in Pakistan. Drive half an hour northeast, you're in China. Drive half an hour south, you're in Miami Beach. Like it's crazy, and that's what I enjoy on Dubai. So that's for me. That's my city. Like I love this place, and I'm really struggled to find somewhere to spend my summer months. But I mean, because I was working until last year when we became the baby. So last year this year was the first summer I spent abroad from Dubai, and I hated every second because I wanted to go back. Because Dubai, everything is in order, everything is arranged, everything is like clean, and like people are not stressed, and everybody has a smile on their face, and that's why I love Dubai. And I'm like, if you know a place that you can recommend, let me know.
Okay. Not really bad. I mean, I'm just getting into the talk where the actually adults within the families and within the kids, where if there's a kid which is like above the 11, in example of above the 11 years old, where they still go to the school and they still go to the kindergartens, where they try to provide them some entertainment side, which is really good, and you can find it in Dubai, especially within the good educational part, right?
Yeah. TM, how old are your kids?
I have 2 kids. 11 years old, my daughter. I got married early, so don't be surprised. So nobody forced me.
Thought you had a good plastic surgery.
Did you guys went for the chicken monkeys?
Yeah.
Chicken monkeys
Where?
for the
Cheeky Monkeys.
Chicken monkeys.
Cheeky Monkeys.
What is that?
Cheeky Monkeys.
Sky Zone, all the different play places.
Yeah,
Sky Zone, yes, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's got 2 kids. I've got 2
Yeah.
kids. We've all got kids.
Yeah.
11 and
11 and 4.5.
4.5.
My son is 4.5. My son was born actually here.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
same.
interesting.
I agree with Daniel. There's no other, the best place than Dubai, to be honest. I mean, we're often traveling to Turkey for the past 2 years. Also best place in terms of the nature and stuff. But, it's like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then you start missing Dubai. Because, the order, the positivity, like people are relaxed, nobody's stressed, everyone is like trying to help each other, like it's a completely different environment, and I love being here. The only thing which I'm concerned is for my son. I think it's the best place for the girl, but it's not really best place for the boys. And I have a point, because they grow up seeing absolutely nothing, no negativity, which is great. But when they want to move to some other countries, I'm sure they will face challenges, because it's going to be, where I'm from, it's not that easy, even in, being kids in the street, I'm from Azerbaijan, it's Caucasus, we always like to fight, in the streets and stuff. I haven't seen, within the 8 years, I haven't seen a single fight in the streets. Never.
Awesome.
It's a great place. It's a compliment, actually. So what I mean that it's a great place, but that's the only concern, that I would like to him to have some harsh environment sometimes. So I'm thinking about MMA. Maybe I will give him to to MMA. Good.
That's interesting.
To have some tough part of the life as well.
Basically, you guys have no worries and no doubts for example, into the education part for your kids when it comes to the Emirates in Dubai.
No, listen, at the end of the day, that Dubai is a multinational, multicultural city. The UAE is a multicultural nation. And we as parents have the opportunity to pretty much put our kids into the best schools that you can find.
It is.
From a safety point of view, from an educational point of view, from a bubble point of view, from a protection point of view. It very much is like that.
It is.
And as the kids get older, they are going to have to face the biggest challenge of what the real world has to offer. I'm a little bit different from TM. When my son gets to 17, I'm just going to kick him into Europe and see what happens.
I like that idea. That's kind of the same of my story, but yeah.
But going to what we have in Dubai here, as a parent with children, you don't want to see your children ever face problems.
It is.
Ever be hurt. Ever face a situation. We work too hard in our lives to put our children in a compromised position, and we work that damn hard for that to happen. When they become close to being an adult, they can work it out for themselves with our help. That's the way that we look at it.
Yeah, Ricardo, TJ, so I'm a bit curious to know about your opinion in terms of, we've heard about the story of Mr. Daniel, right? But did you had a desire that you will come and you would be the real estate agent over here? How did you, what was your desire earlier?
Good question. So my background is tourism and hospitality. That's my specialty, actually. And I used to work in hotels. So that was my vision back in days. So I wanted to become a general manager, manage the hotel and all the stuff. But then being started as a student, started in F&B, moved to guest services, then moved to sales. And I found myself in sales. I found myself good at it. And then I got an opportunity in Azerbaijan, so in Baku, so in our capital. There was a huge project, similar to Emirates Hills over here, which is super luxury. I got an opportunity over there and I said, yes, I'll take it. I've never had real estate experience on that time. I'm talking about 2014, 15. So, and I took that experience, and because of that experience, I actually ended up in Dubai.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, because Dubai provides hospitalities, right?
Well, no, because of the real estate experience.
Sorry.
I ended up here.
Yep.
So, I completely left hospitality. I felt, that's, I don't want to have ceiling, I don't want to build career. And real estate is the industry where you don't have ceiling. right? So, and I mean, I loved it. And then there was an opportunity and I said, yes. I mean, I had an opportunity to work at the branch of that developer here in Dubai or in Baku. And definitely I chose Dubai. Let's try it. Let's see what's going to happen. And yeah, here we are.
Okay. How about you, Ricardo?
Before Dubai?
Yes.
How many hours you got? You got plenty of time?
Don't look that far.
So before coming to Dubai, here we go. Condense this as much as possible. Ex-professional athlete, soccer, football player.
Okay.
My whole life. I stopped playing when I was 29 years old. I retired.
No way.
In the US. I started my career in Scotland.
So
then Italy, then US.
Sorry, I'll disturb you. So you've played the football 29 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, 29 years.
Wow.
I retired at 29. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that was my initial background. Finished in the US. Didn't know what I wanted to do, and then moved into the health and fitness industry. Actually, health and wellness industry. Stayed in the US for a number of years after that. Opened up my own small boutique fitness business in America. Then moved back to the UK. Brought my business back to the UK, turned it into a company, turned it into a franchise, started to franchise the company, burned myself out. And so I then sold and exited the company. Didn't know what I wanted to do. A job opened up with Apple. So head of fitness development for Apple. And the interview process took 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Through, between over 3,500 applicants. Got down to the final 2 after 13 interviews and then lost out to the other guy. And then at that point, I decided, you know what, it's time to move from the UK at that point. My youngest son had just been born.
Oh, okay.
My wife worked for Apple. We decided to move and our friends had lived in Dubai for 10 years at that time. So let's go and do Dubai. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Created my resume, put it on an online resume portal. And 24 minutes later, I had 3 job offers.
Oh, 24 minutes later.
Yeah, literally 24 minutes. So we always laugh about that these days. 2 weeks later, I arrived in Dubai.
Oh, okay. That's
my wife and my son arrived 9.5 months later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I came here with no idea what I wanted to do, but I thought complete fresh beginning, complete fresh start from the bottom, work my way up, network as much as I can, meet as many people as possible. And let's face it, everybody moves to Dubai to make their life better. So my vision in my head was to be the best real estate broker in the city. And then my wife and my son came out 9.5 months later, and the rest is
That's interesting.
history.
That's interesting. What if we talk about a bit of your experience when you just landed? Because it was tough for you to adapt at the beginning, where you could have a look within your experience now. You said where you have your employees, right? Huge number of employees and 8 years of experience into real estate. At the beginning, when you just started, you remember your days, I'm sure. You remember the moment when you just started. And it was really tough for you to start it. What was the adapting process for you to?
I was super excited. I mean, when I arrived here, when I saw this skyline, although I'm from Baku, I mean, we do have this kind of modern buildings, but it was still massive and it was really, really impressive. And it was this, I mean, it was also a bit scary as well, you know, like the scale of the city and what they have achieved. I mean, because I read the history, so I knew the economy and everything. So it was super exciting. I remember. So I was like just, you know, sponge, just, you know, take as much as information I can. Just, you know, it was super, super excited times. And I was just, you know, sticking to anyone who knows anything about the market, you know, like just to learn. And yeah, it was super exciting time. Yeah.
What of excitement.
Yeah, it was like worried, you know, excited, you know, had some ambitious to, you know, goals and like clear vision what I'm going to do. And yeah.
Wow. Mr. Daniel, do you remember your first day of your real estate?
My first day, first of all, I struggled to find a company. I was applying with the big companies, but nobody took me because I was a newbie and I had no experience. So I worked at a very random, for a Pakistani company, very random company. And actually I've started with rentals as well. And what Ricardo already rightly said, it's all about relationships. I'm still having contact with the person that I've closed my first 2-bedroom rental deal in JBR.
Okay.
And 3 years later, I've sold him a villa in the Springs. And then 5 years later, I sold him a villa in Meadows. And then 2 years later, I've sold him a villa in Dubai Hills. And this is like, being a real estate agent means maintaining relationships, and this is the way to the only way to succeed in this business. So it's a long-term game. If you're in for the big quick buck, you're probably very quickly out again. Or I mean, for me, it's always my priority is to put my head to rest at night and like make myself like tell myself like, look, you've done the right decisions for your clients, because we always deal with other people's money, and that's a big responsibility. And that's what I also like trying to be as a role model for my employees, right? And so yeah, it's no comparison to now. Obviously, I'm much more experienced, and I'm much more like, how do you say it in English? It's like a little bit. I've earned my scars, and yeah, kind of as well. And it's right now it's a business I run. I have I don't know almost $1 million dirhams overhead a month. So that's money to earn, and it's it is what it is. Like, it's a business, and it's a numbers game at the end of the day. And you punch the numbers, and if you punch it every day, and that's for years and years and years. If you are not successful, like, it's not like that I'm pitching myself like, oh wow, we have this business now. No, it's just the result of the work that I put in over the last couple of years. So I'm good.
And all of us, we did I'm sure we went at the beginning stage where we did the cold calls, right? All of us, we used to do that.
Nope.
No?
Never.
No? No way.
No.
Come on.
And I report agents that cold call. I'm like, the Dubai Economic Department complaint page is in my browser at the first click, top left.
That's interesting.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I can tell you on one hand how many cold calls I've made in 6 years.
Yeah.
How many? 4. Okay. It seems like.
I thought you were going to show something else.
Yeah. That was my first choice, but that would not be truthful.
Yeah.
4 is the answer. 4 is the real answer.
And I'm a bit curious in terms of the future of the real estate in Dubai. How do you guys see it? Do you guys see it as a bubble, or for example, in the case of where basically a lot of people think that it's going to be kind of like a bubble, so the real estate is going to fall off, and where they say that, oh, you know what, the real estate in Dubai is going to be like parts of nothing. And what's your vision in terms of that? Do you guys think that the real estate in Dubai is a bubble?
I'll start this one off. I think that's an interesting question. I think the comments that have came before, talking about how things were 10 years ago, how things were and how things have developed. I think what we have to remember is that the UAE as a nation, Dubai as a city, is a very young city.
It is.
And in the beginning, there was no structure. Let's just say it as it was, right? There was no structure.
True.
When there's no structure, there's volatility. And when things have no structure, things can go wrong. We are now 50 plus years as the UAE as a nation. Dubai as a city has now developed to the point where we have worldwide recognition for number one destination, tourist turnover, investment, incentives for coming to live in this part of the world. When you put all these things into a bracket, when you put all these things into a pot, you cannot have room for volatility anymore. You have to have the right type of rules, right type of regulations. And when these things are in place, this basically takes care of making sure that bubbles don't burst. Does that mean that the market will go down and up still? Yes, it does still mean that. But there's not going to be any major disruption like we saw before my time here in Dubai. The other small point to make, and this is where I believe very strongly, is that as a maturing market, there are now certain areas in this city that cannot be classified with other new upcoming areas. These more mature areas where people have lived for a number of years now are now developing what I call, and what we've discussed before, micro communities, which have their own real estate market value compared to whatever the market is doing. You cannot compare values of homes in luxury areas, which have been defined now in the past few years, to off-plan developments that are up-and-coming areas, because it's totally different real estate.
Different,
Back in the day, it was kind of all classified as the same thing, but not now. So all these things, and I mean, this is my opinion, but all these things, when you put it together, create an opportunity for stability and comfort for people coming to the city, coming to invest, and for people who already live here who are looking to maybe buy their second or their third home, or your original guy that you spoke to who's now buying 2 or 3 properties. So these things are, this is my opinion on how the market is going. And depending on how clever you are as an individual or as a business, you have the opportunity to really thrive.
Okay, so you probably think that it's going to be, I mean, there is a market which goes up and down, right? So it is, which is correct. And yeah, that's a good idea. Good thoughts on that.
But what I mean by that is, just so I can clarify, for example, I'm very opinionated when it comes to areas like the Palm Jumeirah, Emirates Hills, Dubai Hills. These are the main areas that I work in the secondary market. If there were adjustments in the real estate market where prices do fluctuate, if that happens, and when that does happen, these specific areas, for example, will not feel those effects the same as our other areas. And there are other areas as well that can have different microclimates. It's all now down to lifestyle locations, lifestyle choices, and where people want to be. And as long as there's people coming into this city who are willing to spend for quality, those areas where that quality is being developed will always be different to new upcoming. And then those new communities will then, of course, have to step up as well as the years go on. That's what I mean.
That's interesting. What about you guys? What do you think into the bubble of the real estate of Dubai?
I think what I would add also, like before, it was more kind of an investment environment. So now for the past 2-3 years, we see a lot of end users. A lot of people are moving here permanently. A lot of rich people, like high net worth individuals, they're all moving here. And these are statistics, numbers, which we can see. I think when you see that, to talk about the volatility, it's like the chances are very, very low. That's, again, this is also my personal opinion. I'm not saying the market will continue thrive and go up. Of course, there has to be at some point, depending on economical situation in the world and all the stuff. So there might be some correction, but overall, I see Dubai is getting matured and it's getting more stable. And I think in the long term, it still has huge potential. That's my personal opinion. And and we will see, I think, more stability than the volatility in the coming years.
Mr. Daniel, what do you think of the future of the real estate, where we would talk in terms of what would be the idea for you to sustain the future real estate in Dubai, to sustain the real estate into Dubai, where it comes within the futuristic and the infrastructure, so like just to sustain the real estate industry?
If you look where the world is heading to, in which direction, you see a huge shift of developments in the East, Far East, Middle East, and Asia, Middle East, Northern Africa. So this is where the youngest population is living as well. This is where we have the most influx of demographics. So you can see also that it's a different society system, rather than there's not many democracies, right? Which is at this stage, if we're looking back 200 years from now into the history books, we are in the oil age basically, and so it's interesting. So the Middle East is definitely on the uprise. It will be the new Europe, while Asia is going to be the new America, the next America. This transition phase will probably be next 10, 15, 20 years. It's going to be the BRICS Plus, which is now the UAE's part of it. It's going to be a very interesting kind of platform. And these are all factors that will be, I mean, if you ask if there's a bubble in Dubai, I hear this for the last 20 years, right? So it's always been a bubble. It's not about bubble. It's about like oversupply and undersupply in terms of or over demand and under demand. And if they don't meet, then you have this bubble scenario, bubble-ish scenario. But if we're looking at, I always explain it to my investors, and we're not getting less people on this planet. We're not getting poorer. We all get richer. We're printing money like there's no tomorrow, especially in the Western world. And the world is not getting a safer place overall. So money is always looking for a place safe. And Dubai is a very safe haven. And if you look at these three factors, there's only a couple of spots on the map in the world that you can put and get. There's no such thing as a safe bet, right? But as safe as possible, and with the lifestyle, I mean, we can all walk around with nice watches here and not getting a fight in Baku on the street, right?
Like, nice Rolexes, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's like this, right?
Yeah,
and it's so it's that's the kind of place. Like I also, I mean, my clientele is mostly from Europe, and I explained them that the Middle East is preparing, or especially the UAE is preparing like Switzerland. Before the world wars, let's be honest. Like, you're Jewish, bring your gold. You're German, bring your money. You're this, you're that, that's how you can, like, history doesn't repeat, but history rhymes.
Yeah, this is an interesting thought. But now I have really, I think, interesting thought on my mind. What do you think of the KSA? Because they are now going within the huge of ambitions, right? I'm sure you guys heard about the story within The Line, right? The project The Line, the new NEOM developers. These guys are actually coming back they're coming within the huge ambitions where they say we're going to build the Cube city, where they say we're going to build the city for The Line, where they say we're going to build the project NEOM, which is onto the mountains. And do you guys think that the KSA is going to be kind of like overcome the Emirates?
They certainly have the money to be able to throw into real estate, to do the developments, to do the infrastructure. They certainly have proven that they have the funds to do that. But it's not just about having the funds. It's about having the infrastructure that appeals to a worldwide society. And the honest answer to your question is, I don't know. Yes, possibly, but then possibly not. And we're going to have to see how the next 4 or 5 years develop. How these massive mega developments develop. I can't think of another word to say it. When they're built and how they look and how appealing they are for people to move to. But they have huge potential because, again, it's a beautiful part of the world.
It is.
So the potential's there.
And what do you think? Do you guys probably Dubai is gonna also probably show up some of the cases which is gonna be compared to the Line project or the Cube? Or
look, I mean, while others talk, Dubai actually shows everything, does everything. So these are all very ambitious projects. It might happen, might not. So I also don't have answer. It has potential, of course, and they have the funds. And they're spending a lot of money, not only for infrastructure, but also for PR. So they're attracting, the marketing is crazy now in Saudi Arabia. They're attracting like well-known, football players. They're paying crazy money for that. So they've got funds, but let's see how it goes. Well, will it compete with Dubai? Will it? I think Dubai will be Dubai forever. It's like, I don't know. It's like saying which city is better, London or Paris or Milan, or it's just very.
They're all unique.
They're all unique. They will come up with something. Still, Dubai will be there, and Dubai also comes up with something new and develops, and they're very open-minded. Whereas KSA is still more conservative as well. And there's a huge population in KSA as well, local population, which you can see taxi driver in Saudi Arabia, Saudi guy. I mean, you don't see it in UAE, for example. So it's a different economy. So I don't think so. It's right to compare, but if they develop, I think it will positively affect entire region. So there's nothing negative about it.
Mr. Daniel, do you think if they develop the project, The Line, will the people jump over
no
there?
Idea. I have no insights. I'm not focusing on that.
Hey, that's interesting. that was interesting for me, I think, to discuss a bit of Line and then the Dubai. But yeah, coming back into real estate, and I'm sure you guys meet like toxic people especially when you work within the investor and clients, right? How do you deal within the toxic clients?
I don't.
You don't?
Okay. I fire clients.
Okay.
I don't put up with shit. No, I mean, like, it's, again, everyone looks at, the client as, the biggest challenge I have these days is that, I don't feel as though I have to prove myself to anybody anymore. What that means and what I've done with my part of the market is I've built a reputation where I get a lot of phone calls from around the city, from brokers and from obviously clients who ask for my help. But, some of the things you get asked, I have this client, I don't know how to deal with them. They have this budget, crazy budget. I don't want to lose the client, but, I want to make sure I make as much money from them as possible. And can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we add this money? No.
That's a new trend, yeah? Top up, it's a new trend.
The answer is quite simply no. Just behave the right way you're supposed to behave. So toxicity, people who don't behave the right way, that's brokers, that's also clients, It's much less stressful having the maturity to walk away than to deal with someone who's going to destroy you for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Did you guys went into some of the achievements, for example, top seller into 2023, or like, top
these
achiever?
Are things,
did you guys, I'm sure you probably have some statues of top seller, or probably, for example, as your watches, Rolexes and APs, right? Would be the parts of where to remind you where you've worked it and you received where you deserved it,
I'll start this one off, I think. I'll start this one off. You don't get into this industry just to be mediocre, right? You get into this industry to be the best that you can be. That's my opinion anyway. Okay. I don't know if that's because I come from a sports background or I'm sure, I don't know if all of us have seen the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix. If you have, if you have seen that, then you'll understand the one thing that he always did throughout his whole career was find a reason to be motivated. And to be successful in this industry, you always have to find a reason to be motivated. Personally, for myself, I'll quite happily share this. When I first came to Dubai, like I said, I came 2 weeks later after having the interviews, but I went through 6 or 7 interviews, all on Zoom, and it was 6 interviews, and 4 of those interviews turned me down. 2 offered me a job. I chose one company. One particular company, which I'll not name who they are, I'm 42 years old. One particular company told me that I had a fantastic personality, but I was just too old to work in real estate in Dubai.
Did they say that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was told. That's why I didn't get offered the job. Okay.
That was...
So 4 years later, when I walked up onto the stage to accept the award for the best real estate broker in the secondary market in this city, I made a point of walking past their table and saying hi as I walked past them. You have to find reasons to be motivated. If you don't find reasons to be motivated, then it's very difficult to work this industry because you get a lot of rejection. You're faced a lot of the time by people telling you no or saying they're not interested. So personal achievements, I think, are very, very important. I've shared a couple there purely because they're out there to be found. There are many other achievements that I've done which I'm not going to share, but there's some that I'm happy to talk about, and we all have those scenarios.
Nice. I mean, yeah. Okay. So that was interesting talk, I guess. So on that part too, and I'm curious. Did you guys watch where the reality show about the realtors onto the Netflix where it's shown?
Selling Sunset.
Oh yes, Selling Sunset. Did you guys watch that?
No, I haven't watched Selling Sunset, but I'm a big fan of Selling Sunset is a little bit different show. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I never watched that, so because of various reasons, but I like $1 Million Listing show, so reality show. So Ricardo took part over there as well. I had few scenes. So that's something interesting, and that's something nice. So to see what's happening, like behind the scenes in real life. How realtors are going through the deals, losing the deals, and all this stuff. So I watched Million Dollar Listing New York. That's my favorite. So even LA I watched, but not really. But not Selling Sunset and other reality shows. They're not interesting.
My wife likes Selling Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Really? She likes Selling Sunset purely because it's not really about the real estate. It's about all the...
It's a drama.
The women breaking drama.
Yeah.
Exactly. And my
That's
wife
not real
likes
estate.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but you said that already.
If you have watched Selling Sunset, listen, it's a great show. Of course it is. But if you've watched Selling Sunset, you have property tours, property walkthroughs. No selling gets done other than, I sold that for $5 million. But you don't see the process on that particular show. That's not what the show's about. There are shows that are about that. Million Dollar Listing is the number one TV show worldwide that showcases that concept in the correct way. New York, LA, and now, of course, we've had the UAE as season 1. That's a show about real estate. That's a show about the trials and the tribulations that real estate brokers will go through. It tries to showcase what it's like to be a broker. Is it edited to make it interesting for television? Is it as dramatic as that sometimes? Not necessarily, but the struggles are still real. The deals are still real. The properties are still real, and the people are still real. So as a realistic television show for anyone to watch around the world, you have that particular show, which has 3 different locations now in the world, which showcase pretty much the same on how real estate is performed in those specific parts of the world and the trials and the tribulations that, those brokers go through. Yeah. There are other shows out there which are absolutely crazy, but they serve a different purpose.
Well, yeah. On which stage of your career you should start making your own real estate agency? Because I think Mr. Daniel can answer that, because within your experience, within your huge company background,
I personally did it after 8 years, so now 3 years self-employed. I don't know why, but I opened up in right before COVID.
Okay.
It must have been destiny or something like this, because I went solo 2nd of January 2020, and then 3 months later we had COVID, and I was like, oh damn, anything was anyway on hold. But I think a lot of people tried to do this move too early. I probably did it 2 years too late, to be honest with you. But I was with a very good company. I learned. I was with Lux Habitat 7.5 years. And I've learned everything there, and for me it was the best training camp I could ever have. If you have a good company, stay rather a year longer than a year shorter. And even if you have a successful year and you're like, I give away too much commission to my company, no, this is all like having the overheads and having the responsibility for marketing stuff, this and that, and it's better to know what you're doing before you do it too early. And I've seen it that people also left my company to do their own company, and after 6 months they disappear again. So it's just rather do it because having a real estate company is always it's attractive for many, but it's not. It's a real estate, a good agent doesn't make a good manager or CEO or a good entrepreneur. And that's exactly the difference. He chose the way to do a one-man show, right? I knew that I can mentor guys that can do this and can even my sales guys. In all honesty, they sell better than I do. They have much more drive. After 8-9 years, you're okay. I've talked about the Dubai Marina for 100 times. I cannot hear my own voice anymore, right? So but they do this with a lot of drive, and they make good money. So they work hard for it as well, and it's a good real estate agent doesn't make a good entrepreneur. That's what you always have to keep in mind. I was always very entrepreneurial before. And so I knew that I could scale this thing up when I was a real estate agent, and I knew that I could do it. But then again, I had this feeling for like 2-3 years rolling up in me until I finally took the decision to leave and to go solo.
Wow. Okay. How about you?
Well, I mean, I don't have this experience, to be honest, to open my own company. But what I believe is, as real estate agents, we are not employees, so we don't choose the company. We choose partners.
Correct.
Right. So this is what I always been saying in my interview, that I'm not here for a job interview. I'm looking for a partner. I'm not looking for a job. That's my first thing. I think, we are like self-employed, but I think it's a big responsibility, and I admire, really it inspires me. Eventually I will one day open up my own stuff as well. But at the moment, I'm more focused on personal brand. I want to build myself as a personal brand. I'm putting a lot of content, putting a lot of effort, investing in it, time and everything. So I don't know when is the right time to do that move, but I'm happy at the moment where I am. So I'm happy with my partners, and
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And
that's my opinion.
Now I'm more cautious to know in terms of the perspective. Let's talk about a bit of the perspective in terms of the broker who wants to just start and get into the real estate, get into the sales, right, of a Dubai and Emirates, at all into the real estate at all for the beginning. And if we talk about a bit of a stereotypes of, or if you just do the social media, you will have the deals. Is that correct? No. Like if you just put the double down onto the social part, but you will start to receive leads and then you will start to get some deals.
No, I would say no to that. I think you mean if someone's starting fresh, someone's starting new in the industry, what do? They join a big brokerage.
Yeah.
They join a big brokerage which is designed to teach and mentor them on how to behave in real estate. Then it's down to them, that person, to find their way, find their place, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. The real estate industry in Dubai is split into many different segments, many different parts of the industry. For someone new coming to Dubai, the best thing you can do, I don't know, what do you think about that? Because obviously you said that you started off with a small company, and then of course, then you just mentioned 7 years at Lux Habitat, for example. The training that you would have received at a bigger company like that surely must have been better than the smaller company.
The old Lux Habitat was 10 people.
But the structure was different.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So, I'm just curious, but from my point of view, again, from my personal point of view, I worked for 3 companies before I started my own company. 2 of them are big companies, and they teach you how to perform real estate in the way that they think they want you to perform, which in general is the way that every single real estate company will teach you how to perform. You very quickly realize, does that work for you or does that not work for you? But if you're fresh and you need to understand and you have no experience and you need to understand and have people around you to help you do some deals, for me, must do rentals, first of all, before jumping into sales. Must do rentals for the reasons that I spoke about earlier. And, be part of a bigger brokerage, which you can then have people around you with the similar mindset to learn and to advance. As you get older, you are more experienced, you then decide what works for you.
What would you say for our brokers who are just starting beside of the cameras and either side of the cameras? What would you say one thing for the broker which is just starting within the one sentence?
If you want to have one word, it's integrity. And then if you want to have one sentence, is if you have integrity and willing to do the work that is required in order to, because at the end of the day, one person on the other end of the phone has to put enter and wire money to what you are recommending. And that requires that's a task. Like, as we talk about the big agencies, like if I get a lot of applications, right? Turn them down because I tell them I cannot Like I need, because I'm a small company, I cannot give you the infrastructure. Go to the big companies, get the infrastructure, get the coaching, get the training that is required, and get to know the city. So because I need people that know the city, because I know at the end of the day, it doesn't sell that I tell a client this apartment is 2,560 square foot, the service charge is 16 dirham per square foot. It's the view to this, it's on the, like they know that. What sells at the end of the day is the stories around it. Building this, the history. It's like, oh, down there you get a good shawarma. Like these are the stories that like facts tell, stories sell, right? This is exactly what is making or breaking a good broker. And if you look at the business model of the real estate agencies in Dubai, they all have the same business model. At the end of the day, they're listing off-plan stuff, put it on the platforms, hope to get calls. That's what I'm exactly like, the counter concept to what that, right? And then we talk about social media. I get a lot of like girls, they are applying and they're like, oh, but they're can I get a videographer? And then we walk through this villa and they're like, yeah, you're a pretty face. You look good on the camera, but it doesn't bring me anything if you cannot negotiate a multi-million-dollar deal, because that requires a different skill set than being beautiful. It helps to be beautiful. I mean, we're all successful and not
beautiful.
Good looking. I was just about to say not good looking.
No, I'm okay.
If we were good looking, we wouldn't need to do this job. So now let's be honest. It's very important that you are. I mean, exposure is important. It helps if you're good looking, but to also, because at the end of the day, being successful in this industry is you can learn it like a tool, like a toolbox that you can open, and okay, like what tool do I use now in order to open that case that is in front of me? And if you're not willing to fill your toolbox with stuff and then be prepared to go to your client and just try to be good looking and have a nice social media account. I mean, I don't have a lot of followers, but my Instagram account, like not my Instagram, YouTube account, TikTok account, newsletter, we are making 30 to 40 leads a day.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
It's
crazy.
crazy.
34 is the year to date. And that's the power of social media.
Wow. Yeah. How about you, Mr. Tian? What would you say one was in the what would be the one thing for you to say for the brokers who are just starting into real estate?
I would say focus on process and think long term.
Wow. I like that. Very short and sharp.
Yeah. And be honest. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it.
Is. And now I'm cautious to where it coming back to your talk where you said it requires a really, really high skill part when it comes to multi-million-dollar deals, right? How do you build the trust with wealthy people?
Emotional intelligence.
What do you mean by that?
I like that.
Oh, it's like this.
Yeah, I like that.
What do you mean by that?
The biggest skill that anyone can learn, because it's not something that comes natural, especially for guys. Females maybe a little bit more, but the biggest skill that someone can learn is empathy.
Okay.
Put yourself in someone else's position and try and understand where they're coming from. And listen.
Yeah.
And shut up. And I know we're talking here, but literally less is more sometimes.
That's what I would say. Yeah. Listen more.
It's I'm going to follow up with that by just saying, I mean, how do I say this? So basically, the secondary market is a very different market from the off-plan market. I don't, and I never have classified myself as a salesperson.
Okay.
I don't go out to sell. I go out to build a relationship.
Okay.
And building a relationship with your best friend or with someone you meet for the first time involves being real and being honest and being true to yourself. That can be applied to people starting out in the industry and jumping on social media. But I, say this quite a lot to different people who ask me the questions. When you're on social media, when you're being filmed, and when you're showcasing your talents on your own social media channel, you have the right to do whatever you want. But the one thing you must always do is be real. Don't be fake. Because if you're fake, people see through it and they won't trust you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure. So we all have different personalities, we all have different styles, and we all have different approaches to how we conduct ourselves. But just be real. And so in the secondary market specifically, because there's a lot more interaction face to face with clients as opposed to the off-plan market. You cannot be fake. You cannot lie. You cannot tell things that are not true. You need to walk into a house and something as stupid as, in this beautiful studio, we have herringbone flooring on the floor, right?
Right.
And I'm a client, I'm a buyer, and I go, what's that type of flooring? And the agent says, stone, right?
Yeah.
Because legitimately they don't know the answer for whatever reason. And straight away, the easiest thing to say is, you know what? I don't know. I don't actually know, but I'll find out for you. That's better than just making things up. And when you work in the secondary market, you have to be completely truthful, because when people are out there buying multi-million-dollar homes, I guarantee you that they know more about the products than what you do. So,
100%.
you know your products, but if you don't try and lie. They'll know more about everything. I walk out with clients who know the joints and the joinery and the ironmongery. They know that came from Italy. That's a piece of stone that came from Brazil. Yeah, you don't know. Don't pretend.
And so basically, I have the last question on my list, which it says: did you guys ever had a feeling of being not into the shield of the real estate, like, oh, this is not mine, or maybe I should go out and search for another industry, or no?
I think years.
Even
right?
Okay, so even at the beginning, nobody had a feeling of, oh, it seems like this is not mine, where you had to struggle probably at the beginning stages.
I mean, I think we all struggle in the beginning.
Yep.
We all have to go through adversity and struggle. For me, and I mentioned before, I came out, my wife and my child came out 9 months later. You were a similar scenario, right?
Yeah, even more.
Yeah, even more than that. Yeah, you were 1.5. I'm not sure about you, but you were the same.
So established and then wrote them.
There is no plan B. There's only plan A. So no matter how hard you have to struggle, or how hard you have to fight, or how fast you have to learn, or how quickly you have to assert yourself, there's no plan B. So the plan A was to succeed.
Okay.
If anyone comes out into this industry,
you burned the bridges back then when you crossed it.
No burned bridges. It's just that the mindset has to be, I'm coming to Dubai. If it fails, I'll just go home. Nah, you've already failed. If that's the mindset, you might have a beautiful structure back home. You might have family. You might have friends. But if you choose to come to Dubai, anywhere in the world, you choose to make a move, do not think that that's waiting for me back home where I come from, because you will not succeed in anything. And that's my personal take on that.
Okay. But that's interesting. And I think nobody have a right now, probably even for the kids, but like as of now, if we're just talking to the real estate as a real estate agent in Emirates, because we've seen all of us, those bombarding stories onto social media, or they bought a Lamborghini and etc. Right? Where they see and they would be like, oh, you know what? I have a desire to become a real estate. I think nobody says that, even as an adult, right? They would see, oh, I would like to become a real estate agent in Dubai, right? And I don't know. I think nobody does that, right? Like, oh, I have a desire to become a real estate broker in Dubai.
Now everyone wants to become a real estate broker. Right?
But everybody thinks it's easy, right?
It's easy. Yeah, that's what I get as well.
It's not easy. We might make it look easy, or the way we might on our social media channels display things that are not as factually correct as what they are. But no, this is a hard industry. Hard industry where people are out there, as we discussed, to screw you over all the time. You have to stand on your 2 feet. You have to be take account for your actions. You have to present yourself the right way in whatever capacity you are functioning in this industry. And you have to make the right connection and the right relationships. Not easy.
Well, when it comes to the easiness part, so how do you guys overcome those stresses and those struggles, especially within the company, for example, right? How do you overcome your toughest clients, or how do you overcome the stress into real estate?
I don't respond to stress. So it's not. It's the path that I chose. So now I have to do what I bite off.
Okay.
That's a good way of putting it.
But like, does it mean that you are okay within that?
Yeah, I don't respond to stress.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
It's just I don't feel stressed or stressed.
How about you, Mr. Siam?
Well, I meditate.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Show me the industry which doesn't have stress.
Yep, exactly.
So,
exactly.
As you said, I mean, if you took this responsibility, so you have to get it done. So like, I also like, I put this feeling on a side. So there's no emotion. So I have to get it done. It's a discipline. So if you have a discipline, I mean, none of the stress and all this nonsense can break you. So you need to have a discipline. And yeah, sometimes you might feel down. Sometimes you might be tired, exhausted. So you just need to understand where you need to take rest, just, chill, relax, and come back, focus, and do things done so that nobody's going to do it for you. So that should be the mindset. And for me, it also, like, to answer your previous question, that was the biggest thing also. I didn't want to fail. That was my biggest motivation.
Wow.
None of the stress can overcome this. That was the mindset. No plan B. It's like Schwarzenegger's famous speech, right? No plan B. So plan A, whatever comes, just handle it.
Okay.
So we're grown like men. So we have families. So stress, it's actually illusion. So just,
Okay, I like
real.
that thought too. That's
it's not
interesting.
real. It's just
Stress is illusion.
it's just in our mind. So
Well,
so, yeah,
that's interesting. I have to think about on that. I
Think
will
about
definitely think on that. Well, I mean, I like that thought. It's really interesting.
illusion, right?
It's illusion.
It's very easy. We're on a freaking rock, 365,000 kilometers an hour, traveling around a billion degree thing. Like it's all an illusion. Like what he said.
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's illusion.
Why would you? Why nothing matters. It's enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Don't worry too much. Stress is a disease of the new generation, and it's like everybody needs to go to Bali and chill out and do this and do that. Like it's not like this.
Okay.
We are stronger than any challenge ahead of us.
Now, I'm more cautious to know in terms of, do you guys have some other businesses which is not into the real estate industry?
No, I mean, I don't believe in diversification. I think you need to be 100% focused. So, and all the successful people, entrepreneurs such as Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they never diversified. They put all the eggs in one basket and focused there and became number one in their industry. So I believe in that.
How about you, Mr. Ricardo?
Outside of the real estate industry these days, no. Not right now. Inside the real estate industry, I am a broker, and I have my own projects that I do myself, where I buy villas, and the simplest way is I flip them. I renovate them completely from top to bottom, and I resell them. And so it's two separate businesses, but it's in the same industry.
Okay. Well, do you guys have your own story where maybe you would like to tell to our audience, people who are watching might be interested and inspired to get into the real estate industry?
Don't join real estate.
We'll put that at the intro. We'll put that as an intro.
Don't join. Yeah.
I think
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. If you have the, I think from my point of view, my comments would be, if you have the hunger, if you have the desire to be successful, if you have the itch to want to be independent, to control your life and your family's life, there's only one way to do that. From a real estate point of view, you have an opportunity here in a beautiful part of the world that gives everyone the same opportunity. The same. How you choose to take that opportunity is down to you. It's not easy. It's hard work, but the opportunity is there to be taken with both hands. Initially, we would have looked at it and went, the Middle East was like the new Wild West on back in the day. Everything was crazy, but the opportunity was there to make money. Now we have structure, still can make money. And if you have that desire and that want and that drive, then you come to Dubai to work in real estate, to learn from people like these guys, to associate yourself with people who are good, honest, hardworking people, and you have the opportunity to be successful.
Now I have quick last questions where what's your opinion in terms of the...
That's your third last question.
Because it's interesting for me, and I hope it's really also interesting for you as well.
Of course.
Where if we have a look into the future at all, right?
Yeah.
But let's be more specific. Future of the real estate. Now everything which is coming in, those like artificial intelligence, and which by the way we are integrating it in our portal, where you basically take out your phone if you're a broker into the off plan, and you you basically open the application, and you will tell to our application, hey, chat, hey AI, could you please make me a sales offer onto the district of Palm Jumeirah, and then it automatically generates the sales offer instead of for you. So it's basically runs the work for you. Do you guys think in terms of the future where we don't need the brokers anymore into the off plan, because now everything is going to be artificial, right? Especially within the VR coming up within those virtual tours where you can wear the VR glasses and then make a walk through the building, which is not yet built, right? But you can still walk through within the VR glasses, within the artificial intelligence, right? Everything is coming. The future is coming here, and it's almost near, right? And it's almost close. So do you guys think that maybe we don't need the brokers anymore into the future, into off-plan? Because we do a listings, for example, if you tell to the artificial intelligence, hey, make me a listing on Property Finder, buyout, etc., B-Homes, right? It will do all the work for you. It will make a presentation. It will make the presentation for you. Maybe we don't need the brokers anymore. What do you guys think on that?
I hope it happens. 100% it will happen.
Well, in my opinion, I think there's not such a thing. Like if you look at the definition, there's not such a thing, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is like intelligent, which can operate artificially by itself. So we still need to give a command. So this is not artificial intelligence. I mean, if you look at technically, right?
Yep.
I think it will help us to accelerate the business. But to be honest, I'm tech friendly. I love tech, but I don't think so it will take away the jobs. I think it will maybe change the direction or make it different. But in my personal opinion, at least for the next 10 years, I don't see that.
Okay. That's interesting.
Personal opinion.
Are we being honest here?
Uh-huh.
Maybe I would sell more. Maybe I would sell off plan more.
Okay.
If artificial intelligence was introduced more, not because it can do all the jobs that a human person can do. And this maybe sounds a bit strong saying this, but it will take care of all the things that an incompetent human being cannot do.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
it is.
That's true.
The reason why one of the reasons why I switch off from off-plan side of things is because the people that I speak to on the other side of the phone, I don't know, are just not the type of people that I'm able to talk to or understand, and that's just my own personal opinion on that one. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to come. I think it's definitely going to happen. If we're going to have driverless taxis in Dubai by the end of December, then of course AI is going to make a huge impact on the market. I think what it's going to do is it is going to take jobs away from a lot of people. But then those who have the skill set and those who have the ability to stand firm, you can never take that person's job away because they are a valuable piece of what the industry has built. But in my opinion, there's too many brokers and salespeople in Dubai anyway, confusing people. So if AI takes the confusion away, maybe it would be a good thing.
Wow. Well, I think. Well, I mean, that's interesting
There's
to
no
hear
right
you guys.
answer or wrong
Interesting-
answer to that.
There's no right or
There's
wrong
no right
answer.
or wrong
yeah,
answer to
exactly.
that. That's just
Yeah,
personal,
yeah,
personal
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah,
I,
it is.
Exactly.
I love tech. I absolutely
Me
love
too.
tech.
Yeah,
Love
me too.
it. And I want to see tech succeed. I don't want to see it succeed at the detriment of other people, of human beings. But if there's human beings working in any industry that are not supposed to be in that industry, maybe they should find a different industry.
This transition will happen eventually, right?
Yeah.
So before, I mean, at the time of farmers, when the tractor came in, everyone was worried, oh, it will take our jobs away, but it made it easier.
Yeah.
I think tech will make it easier and will make it, but still it's artificial intelligence. It's not like, it doesn't think by itself yet. If it does, then that's a scary thing, that we need to see. But at the moment, I think it will help. I mean, I'm using artificial intelligence. It helps me. But I don't think so it will take my job away or something like that. So.
Yeah, that was really good thoughts to hear that. And to be honest, I think at the same stage where probably I guess I'm the same opinion within you, where for as of now, artificial intelligence cannot take off the work within the real estate, but it helps you to build. It helps you to increase your sales, I would say, and
Be more efficient.
Yes. And this is what we do, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can log it into our portal, have a look. So basically, B-Homes is the sponsor of our video today. It was really, really pleasure to hear you guys today here. And I really, really appreciate for you coming in and sharing your time within us, within the audience, sharing your experience and stories. It was, for me, personally, it was really pleasure. I really, really thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see you again. Within your new stories, probably. Pleasure to meet you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.